to show you how to allow users to select which numbers of row numbers to be processed in an application that you've developed. I developed currently this week. I've developed something that's very long, and there's a lot of numbers to process, and so they're going to have to select which rows they want to process, and then I want it to mark which rows have been done. So I've done a very simple example of what we're doing here. So I have employee names starting at 500 here, I have hours, and I have the wages. And so you could simply do this without the macro, but this is just showing you how you can have them select which rows you want them to do. So here I'll run over to my code. And so what I've done is I've called it process. And so start inbox, it's going to ask for the start number of the employee that you want to process, assuming this is employee's payroll. And then einbox is the end number of the employee you want to process. And then it goes, so the whole trick on this one is instead of just input, you put application.input, and that's what's going to be able to allow you to use it in the formula. So for your start inbox number to your end inbox number, so it's just simple. I just have it multiply the wages times the hours. Now what I do after I've done that is I select the first cell of the thing, so we can highlight it and say that this has been done. So I'm going to change the color of it, and so with this one selected, I'm changing the pattern to solid. I'm changing PatternColorIndex to automatic, ThemeColor, and I just picked a color out of my hat, and then end width, and then we go next. So let's run this and see how it looks. So I'm going to run, and so it asks me which one I want to do. So let's start with it, and this is the row numbers as like A1, that type of row numbers. So we're going to start with, let's say, row 3, and let's go to row 6, or row 5 is enough, I think, and say OK. Now, as you can see, it has processed the formula here, and it's marked which ones you've done. This also allows you, so let's run it again. So let's say I just want to do number 10. So if you run this, and so if you say 10, and you say 10 again, you can just run one at a time, or you can run a large number at a time, and it will both process the rows that you've selected, and it will mark the rows that you have done already. So that's how you have users select which rows they want to process and how to mark which rows have been processed. Please subscribe.